this triennium. So welcome everybody here that's here today. Firstly, councillors, make sure your microphones are on, please. We get that continual feedback that a lot of councillors can't be heard on webcam. I'll call for any apologies, but that's not really worthwhile because we're all here. Councillor Williams. Apologies from Councillor Williams. A mover and a seconder, please. Move. Councillor Downard, second. Councillor Crate, all those in favour? Aye. Okay, firstly, we're going to have a presentation from the Taupo Mobility Action Reference Group. Mr. Ted Jones, also known as Edward Jones, has decided he doesn't want to present today. He's going to present to the new council, so you've got something to look forward to there, team. So we'll go straight to item number 2, which was presentation from Enterprise Great Lake Taupo. It's Fritzy, I didn't see Fritz. 15. Yep, we can shift that, my apologies. So DGLT is here, so we've got Vanessa and Andrea in person, I see that. Yeah, Vanessa's coming on Skype or a video presentation.
Vanessa has just had surgery, so she's going to present the report via a video presentation that she's pre-done.
Yep. And
the short store is probably to me because Ray, who's the chair, has gone to work on a bilateral project. So I'm here to answer any questions, post the presentation, or should answer any questions, and
Okay, Andrea, so is it ready to go? This one here's not on, so is that one on for the audience? That one's going there, is it, Andrea? Yeah. If you just hold fire for a minute, we'll get this one cranked up down here, maybe. Elevated music. Yeah, some of that music when you're on hold is not the best, is it? Not something Fleetwood Mac sings. Okay, well look, we won't worry about this TV here too much. The audience has got one there. We've all read the report, and I think, councillors, you might get a little bit of a sore neck, but can some of you see that one over there? You can? Yep. Okay, let's go.
Hi there. Unfortunately, I can't be with you today, so we've prepared Destination Great Lake Taupo's end-of-year report by video. As you can see from the report, it's been pretty tough for tourism nationwide, especially in the smaller regions. The Great Lake Taupo region, though, fared pretty well and it held its own, definitely seeing a lift in the latter part of summer this year, February through March especially. With marginal growth in our commercial bed nights, we fared better than many of the smaller regions around the country. This last 6 months has seen the team move into the new hub premises. This continues to provide a collaborative working space that's quite the envy of regions of our size. With both management and governance, communication and collaboration, this concept continues to provide a platform for destination marketing, economic development, events and our retail sector to work really effectively together. Real energy has gone into driving cost efficiencies and increasing revenue opportunities through both of our eyesites, both Taupo and Turangi. You can see from the end of year result with our eyesight sales being up 12%, that energy is really paying off. The relocation of the bus stops during the year has provided another revenue stream for the Taupo eyesight, which we're keenly tracking month on month. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Taupo District Council, Will Samuel and his team, and in particular Karen Balasoglu for their support to drive this project, and everyone's efforts really ensured that this had a streamlined transition. More recently, a 2-year strategic plan has been signed off by the Destination Great Lake Taupo Board, and currently the action plan that supports that is being implemented. This plan will be delivered in stages and will ensure we deliver quality visitor services that are cost effective and of great value moving into the future. The district signage project has been another piece of work on DGLT's work in progress schedule, and I'm really happy to report that this project, after its initial rationalisation, is currently in production. It's been a really important project and we really wanted to deliver on this. So while we wanted to continue with the formal branded welcoming signs to the region, we had the opportunity to put in place some engaging and inspiring tourism messages as well. We've worked alongside industry and Taupo District Council staff again to progress this project, resulting in a number of the formal branded signs being reskinned and some new ones being put in place. These are in production and will be installed in the next few months. Rather than running through all of our marketing results over the last 6 months, I thought I'd pull out a few key highlights for you. First up is an example of one of our special interest focuses, golf. We partnered 8 operators and the ANZ Golf Show to produce a full episode of Golf in the Region. This show aired on TV3 and Sky TV, reaching an audience of over 131,000 viewers. DGLT's investment was $1,500 and was leveraged by the partner investment and ensured we secured advertising value of over $50,000. The next key marketing highlight was our recent Real Winter marketing campaign, launched back in May. The results to date include over $35,000 worth of Real Winter partnered product being sold through our eyesights. We had 40 participants across the region, so from Taupo, Turangi, Whakapapa and National Park participate as partners in this program. We also welcomed 2 larger sponsors on this year and taking a longer term view with our marketing. King Country Telecom and Ruapehu Alpine Lifts became quite significant partners with a view to continue with us next winter. Video content became quite a big component this year for us as well, and we reached over 20,000 viewers on YouTube and other distribution channels that we put our video up on. The wrap-up results will be distributed to the industry at the conclusion of the activity later on this month. Trade show season really rounded up this year from April through to June. DGLT attended all of the key major travel and tourism convention and incentive trade shows over this period. This resulted in Destination Great Lake Taupo having over 151 one-on-one appointments with key travel sellers or corporate buyers. Sales calls and a FML program continue to run alongside this activity and throughout the year as well. A good example of this is our successful corporate FML program that runs year round. A large number of corporate companies that are hosted by a convention bureau every year come back to book conferences. Currently we have a 56% conversion rate off the back of that FML program. That 56% conversion rate is recorded in the first 12 months, and so it's highly likely that the balance of 44 still remaining will come back to book conferences within the region. In June, we relaunched a strategic steering document. We were fortunate to have over 130 attendees to this launch. This was primarily to provide a platform for the industry to engage with our strategic direction. It was received really well and taking a customer-centric approach built around all the marketing activity we've got moving forward. The main mission being to ensure that we have destination marketing that is relevant for all of our visitors and reflects the people in this region and for generations to come. We have a number of projects next on the agenda for Destination Great Lake Taupo. Amongst these is our digital and web project. We have reviewed our current digital platform and strategies and determined that whilst they're yielding satisfactory results, we need to evolve to meet the demands of the current and future marketplace. The digital environment is now a key point of contact for both sourcing and the delivery of information in the travel and tourism sector. In addition to providing information, websites now are a key facilitator of transactions. So with that in mind, our digital strategy is a fundamental component for DGLT to achieve its primary objective of attracting more visitors to the region. Our investment in the online space moving forward is made up of a number of components which are key to allowing the digital platform to be future-proofed. This next generation of development that DGLT are undertaking will provide the means to improve its level of communication to the global marketplace. A focus on more content production and distribution, user-generated content, social interaction, and the online purchasing will all be key areas of focus for this coming year. Research, statistics and data will be important also on the agenda for the next year. A strong focus this coming year will be in developing a collaborative approach to better analysis and data interpretation. The goal really to providing a strong, tangible and accurate information that's measurable and useful not only to us as an organisation but to the local tourism industry also. Special interest marketing is a new approach, along with the delivery of our international, domestic and local marketing partnerships. This year, our change in approach is actually following the national lead behind Tourism New Zealand. Special interest is focusing in those areas we're strong in. A good example of this is our bike and hiking. By channeling activity to target audiences, we'll generate a stronger brand, ultimately producing more pre-qualified leads. And that's where that approach is going. So overall, a pleasing result for the region, especially when compared to other regions of similar size and location. It has been tough for tourism over the past few years. However, it's important to recognise just how key tourism is as a provider of business development and employment in our region. The team at DGLT are acutely aware of this and continue to work on improving destination marketing to that end. As always, everything is a work in progress and the DGLT team continue to work on improving destination marketing programs always. On behalf of the DGLT team, I'd like to express our thanks to the councillors and staff at Taupo District Council who provide us with the resources and the means to deliver successful destination marketing programs. Thank you.
So I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Andrea, and that was a lovely video presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for getting the TV to work. So, any questions from fellow councillors? Councillor Craig.
Probably not a question, but well done on your promotion of cycling, golf and walking and fishing, which came out as a result of our meeting in Rotorua by Tourism New Zealand.
Councillor Craig, can you talk into the microphone from now on, please? We did hear you, but you wouldn't have been heard on webcam. Councillor Henderson, you have a hand up?
Yes, I did. Thanks for the presentation. Just on 3/6, I see that the eyesights have been reviewed or are under review. And I also note that there's been quite a focus on these over the last 2 years, at least 3 years actually, when I think about it, and quite a bit of uncertainty about what the way forward is. I also note that revenue is actually up and they've done pretty well. So putting all that together, I guess the simple question is what's the plan going forward, but in particular a business plan for the eyesights. I'm interested in what we might be doing to train the staff and enable them to do better jobs, and also in particular what we intend to do with technology in the eyesights to make sales more cost effective.
Sure. Yeah. So eyesights is one of our critical projects, and yes, there has been a lot of conversations in the past few years about eyesights and about where they sit and what's the culture and what's the reason behind them, and can we make them profitable and all that sort of those very interesting and appropriate questions. So in order to appropriately address the eyesights and understand where they fit in the context of Destination Great Lake Taupo, we have been undertaking a review of current practice, and then we brought in a specialist who is an eyesight specialist to give us an external perspective of what's going on and what the opportunities are around eyesights, and that goes through all aspects of business, so through the integration of computer systems, through commissions and sales, and a whole lot of other aspects. In going through this process, we had our key question to ourselves is what is the purpose of an eyesight, and how do we relate that to us? So we've sort of come to the conclusion that the eyesight's to us, and for those of you who attended our AGM, you would have seen our discussion around that, that the purpose of the eyesight's for us is to add value to the visitors once they're here in Taupo. So by adding value, we're investing in adding value to the customers that are here to get them to spend more, to stay more, and to come back. So we've worked out it costs about $60,000 a year for the Taupo eyesight to run, and we think it's a strong and good investment in our future and our ongoing value to clients and visitors to the region. And now we're looking at ways that we wrap our offering together and bring the eyesights back into DGLT. For a long time they've been pushed out as a separate thing, and we're going to bring them back in and look at our whole service offering to industry and to clients. And so to answer your question, where are we going next, is we have started with looking at centralising systems. We are talking about how we are going to integrate with the greater DGLT brand. Also, we are going to look at how we're going to manage resource those two eyesights going forward and reduce costs, but also understand that there's an investment to be made in order to make it work. So I hope that answers your question. I didn't just waffle there, but...
Sorry, yeah. Just
sorry.
just following that, you spent about 70,000 on the actual, so that was training to upkeep the eyesight. So you perceive that's going to be around about 60 to 70,000 ongoing every year.
That's current. So we have to look at the future plan first to see what the costs are of that, and so that's just the current cost to us.
Anything further, Councillor Henderson?
Sort of answers my question, but I think most of what I heard is about cost reduction and cost control. I mean, what I'm actually looking for as much as anything is to see how to grow the business, and is there a future in growing the business through those eyesights, and how do we deliver that? So has a new plan been developed about what eyesight should do and how they do it, or is that still coming?
Yeah, no, that is we're still working on that. That's part of the full review and recommendations at the end of the review.
All right, thanks.
Dr. Truman?
I've already talked to Vanessa about this, but one thing I'd like to see going forward is just a bit more collaboration with DGLT in the Mangakino community. You've got the eyesight in Turangi, you've got the eyesight here, so you've kind of got a team on the on the ground in each community. Mangakino's kind of not in the loop, I think, when like for example the district visitor signage that came out. It would have been good if there'd been even just a small focus group or something about what are we trying to achieve, getting the stakeholders together, and that didn't really happen. And so we got some beautiful pictures, but probably if that sort of discussion had happened, I think we would have loved to have our new swing bridge on there so that people could see the Waikato River trails, whereas it was kind of like a bush picture. It's beautiful, but could be anywhere. But just things like that. So if that communication could happen a bit more would be great.
I appreciate that, and I'll pass those comments back on to Vanessa. I do know, I participated in coming out to Mangakino and talked to some of the local operators and had some discussion. So, yes, we all know that Mangakino probably hasn't had the emphasis that it needed, but I think there is definitely on the go forward some motivation to do more. Yeah, and also the balance of what imagery we use, and we have to balance where we think what the market will be attracted to, as opposed to the local people and where that sits. So yeah, but I appreciate that we need to have more conversations.
Further, Councillor? Councillor Henderson?
Just one other question on 3/7, the industry contributions there. I think if I read it correctly, the goal was 150,000.
Yes.
And those numbers on the right are not too short of that. But I guess the question is, do you have any feedback from the industry on why people do and don't sign up to these partnerships, and what the barriers are and what the things are that make them get involved?
I think that I can talk about my discussions with people in the industry, and there's two sort of ways that people think. First of all, people want to support the group, so they often do support, and that's why the majority of funding has come through, because they want to support the growth and marketing of Taupo in the region. Secondly, they need to assess their current operating cash flows and costs and rationalise those. So I think that if you discussed with any of the operators about their level of investment in advertising and marketing over the last 6 months, they would have probably rationalised quite a few aspects of their marketing and advertising. So yeah, I think it just demonstrates the industry fluctuations, and I think that I don't think it's anything more than that. I think people have to decide for themselves if the campaign is relevant to them, and obviously they won't invest if they don't think it is.
Anything further? Being nothing further, Andrew, would you please take and on behalf of my council, our congratulations and thanks back to your governance team and to your General Manager, Vanessa. I think, like Cream, it's been a tough few years, but I think, like Cream, you've risen to the top, and I'm particularly pleased with what I've seen from my point of view around the town over these last couple of years. So pass on my thanks on behalf of all the councillors to your governance team and your General Manager, Vanessa.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And a copy of that presentation is going onto the website, so if you or anyone else wants to have another look at it later, you can feel free to do so. Thank you.
Andrew, thank you very much. Okay, we did move the agenda around slightly there, and I see that we have Mr. Falk and Mr. Beveray in the room now, so we can move back to agenda item number 2, which is presentation from Enterprise Great Lake Taupo. It's a verbal presentation. Oh, sorry, I haven't moved the Andrew left the room, is she? Oh, no, she is. Can I have a mover, please, for the resolution on the page? Councillor Crate, seconded Councillor Truman. All those in favour, say aye. All right. Right, now we'll move on to agenda item number 2, presentation from Great Lake Taupo, and I see we've got Mr. Falk and Mr. Beveray here with us, so it's a verbal presentation. If you'd like to come forward, please do so. Sure. Oh, there's Fritz. Sorry, so we've got Anne as well.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Shall I just kick off, Rick?
Yes, please.
Thanks very much. And sorry for being late. Our only defence is that we're engaged in business attraction and development. So apologies, but we were out there doing some business. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to come and present to you this afternoon. It's great to be here. 2012-13 was a really exciting year for Enterprise Great Lake Taupo. I guess simply put, due to the increased funding, we were able to do more. There are 3 sort of key areas I just want to quickly mention. We were able to develop capacity in the management team and also in the governance team, which I'll just talk about in a minute, which has basically given us a strong platform to continue our work. We've also marked a shift more towards business attraction, and I guess what this means is we're now in a position to start marketing the region to external businesses as well as our internal customers. And then the third area that we've been very conscious of this year is extending our coverage of our service more fully into Turangi and Mangakino. So we actually now have somebody on the ground in Mangakino, Lisa, who's doing an amazing job out there from everything I hear. And also down in Turangi, we've worked with Tongariro to give us increased coverage on the ground there. Now, Anne and Fritz are going to give you more detail on that. I just wanted to very quickly touch on the strength of our governance board now, just to update you on some of the new trustees who've come on board in the last few months. So of the existing trustees, we've got Tom Finlay as the deputy chair. I'm still currently the chair. We've got Jeff Thorpe, who is the Taupo District Council representative, who I think presented to you last time. We've got Greg Stebbing, who's on as an independent with specialist skills in wood processing and governance. Andy Blair, who obviously you've just heard from in a different capacity, but she is of extraordinarily help in the geothermal area, and that's her specialist skill. And she also now represents tourism on our board. And the new trustees that I just wanted to quickly mention, Bruce Bartley, who comes with particular property development entrepreneurial experience, and he's really reinvigorated our thinking and challenges us at every step, which is always a very healthy process. We've got 2 new Tuparotoa representatives from Tuparotoa Maori Trust Board, who are amazing trustees in every respect. A great deal of intellectual strength and expertise comes in with them, obviously, with their specific specialist skills around Tuparotoa and the cultural sensitivities. So we've got Tamarapa Lloyd, who's the CEO of the Trust Board, and Topi Ramika, who's one of the trustees, and they've both been fantastic. We've got Penny Lyons has just come on, which I think is going to be extraordinarily helpful in terms of business attraction with her background with, better get this right, MediaWorks. So Penny is representing the Chamber and Taupo. And the last person I think is Richard Wyatt, and I don't know if you guys have come across Richard. He's the CEO of Miraka and obviously understands the business to the Taki as well. And he's definitely bringing I guess, a very strong corporate governance model and is kind of also keeping us on the straight and narrow. So Richard's huge on the ball. So I think without further ado, I shall pass on to the people who are actually doing the work for us. So I'm going to hand over to Anna. I think Anna's first up.
Thanks, so. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm just going to talk about the Taupo Youth Employment Steering Group very briefly. A few months ago, we were lucky enough to have Dale Williams, the Mayor of Otahonga, come over and talk about the program he's been running there. When he came to office, he noticed this incredible disconnect between employers and industry that were threatening to pull out of Otahonga because they couldn't find skilled staff. And then school leavers were leaving the district also because they couldn't find jobs. And so he kind of wondered what was going on, and he started talking to industry, and they said that they just couldn't find kids with the right skill sets for their job. So he said, well, what are the skills that you need? And he got every single NZ Q&A paper out and put them on the table, and he said to all the employers, please tick which courses are relevant to your particular industry. And from that he got this package, and he took it to the Polytech and said, can you teach these courses for my young people? And they said, no, we can't. And he said, well, that's fine, I'm going to bring these courses into Otahonga and I'm going to teach them to our young people. And in the 10 years that he's been running that program and the trade centre's been up and running, there's been almost zero unemployment, and the crime stats have just gone right down. So a group of us that were at that talk got together and we formed the Taupo Youth Employment Steering Group. And currently it's made up of representatives from business, Wairiki Polytech, the secondary school, social agencies, Taupo District Council and iwi. And our mission statement is that all young people under 25 in the Taupo District are engaged in appropriate education, training, work or positive activities leading to meaningful employment. So my role in our role in EGLT and along with the Chamber of Commerce is to find out what the demand side of the equation is in Taupo. And so we want to go out to industry and ask them what the job market's like now, what they envisage it looking like in 5 years' time, and what the skills are that our young people need to develop to enable them to move into meaningful employment. So what the steering group really needs right now is a champion, and I'm hoping that someone will come out of the woodwork and lead it on. Thank you.
Quick changeover. The reason we've done this, we just actually wanted to introduce you to some of the people who are doing some of the work on the ground. And one thing I just wanted to talk about today is just briefly where we've come from. Where about 3 years ago when I started in this role almost to the day is we sat in a leaky building where we needed beanies and gloves in winter to work with $150,000 funding to where we've gotten to now. And it's for the first time that we feel we have a solid and stable platform. And Sue alluded to that. We now have a person on the ground in Mangakino. Lisa, she's doing a great job. We've got a stable platform now in Turangi where things are on its way. The business mentors are going really strong, and we're up to how many mentors? 30 mentors spread across the district from initially 6 when we started. And while I normally come here and talk about what we've done, I really now want to use my remaining time to talk a little bit about where we want to go to. So we want to carry on what we've done, and especially in the small and medium business where we've been, and we want to carry this on. But one thing in particular I want to talk about today is the great opportunities, or the Goal magazine. Now, in the past, we just didn't have any funds to have any attraction for business whatsoever, and we're small, and we've got a small budget, and I hope my trustees won't shoot me for saying this, but we feel we have very good funding in place right now. We now need to go out in our next phase and attract business to come here. And we're going to focus particularly around about heat users for geothermal. That's a unique proposition that Taupo has that no other district will have. We will also carry on in the tourism area, and as you know, I gave a briefing to the councillors not too long ago about these larger projects that are on the go. There's currently around about 11 on the go. And the Goal magazine, to give you some idea, we've sold about $70,000 worth of advertising. So this comes almost at a neutral cost And it's for the first time that we will have a dedicated magazine with 20,000 copies being distributed around the country and around the world, that will showcase businesses in this region and opportunities in this region that we can really go and market to this very small niche market of users that we know we can attract well. We have a very good opportunity to get them here, and when they're here, make sure they'll build a business here. So I just wanted to keep it short and sharp to the point today. You've had my report, so we wanted to open the floor to some questions. Before I do that, I'd really like to thank you, because I guess it's the last time I'm going to see you in this configuration. I really appreciate all the support we've had over the time. We've been really, really grateful for all the support, because that's what we work on. We use as many people as we can get our hands on. And I'd like to close with saying we're hoping that when the next councillor comes in, please put some sort of introduction for the new councillors in place, that they'll come to the hub and spend some time with the people that are there before they go and make decisions, and get some sort of steering and feedback of what's actually happening here. And if they sign some non-disclosure agreements, we're happy to also disclose all the larger deals we're working on. Thank you.
Okay, any questions, team? Okay, well, being none, on behalf of my fellow council, I know they concur with me. Congratulations for doing a wonderful job. You really have risen from the ashes, so to speak. I mean, you're making a great impact for our district, and I think also Anne at the back of the room there, good on you for taking up the this employment youth issue that we do have. It is hard to get the right youth with the right skill sets, so I think that's a very big and good thing that you're doing there. So keep up the good work, and it'll be the last time I'll be seeing you in this format. So I look forward to seeing you out in the arena. But once again, you are doing a great job, I think. So keep up the good work, and Taupo will thrive because of it, I'm sure. Thank you. And we have a resolution that the information be received from Enterprise Great Lake Taupo and their representatives. Move it, please. Move, Councillor Downer. Second, Councillor Johnson. All those in favour? Aye. Say aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, minute.